A lot of people played an important role to be able to get this game started and be able to have people here. So we got a little. I don't want to miss anybody. I probably will, but the shot staff and facility grounds team to get this place ready so people could come, so we could practice yesterday was critical. Levy and being available. Public safety and campus safety, our ticket office, our fans, the Nut House. I'll even thank you guys for braving the elements and coming and just, really proud of the way our team handled adversity today. We got dealt some adversity before the game with some guys being out that we didn't fully anticipate being the case, and then we obviously got dealt some adversity in the second half, the first half of the second half. So just really proud. We talk a lot about, toughness and our ability to handle adversity well. We train for it, we work for it, and I thought our guys did a great job with that tonight.
We'll go questions for Taison.
Yeah, Yvonne, you find out that Kristoff's not able to play, and they're going to look at you to play 25 minutes or whatever it ends up and be the guy. Just from your standpoint, just how did you approach this tonight? And obviously you got into a groove there at the end of the first half. We're scoring some points that were critical.
Yeah, I just first thing I would say is it's just a blessing and a honor to get the opportunity to start a program like this. And it really means a lot. And today I came to the gym, I wasn't even expecting. I didn't know anything about Tilly's injury and stuff, so I didn't know I was gonna start, and it was nice to hear that coach trusts me to start. So it was a really nice opportunity, I guess.
Taison, this has been a breakthrough that's been a long time coming. Two years injury filled, and some ups and downs this year. Just to see the ball go through the basket a couple times, a couple big shots. Just what does this game, I guess, mean for you, and hope that you can build off of it, I suppose.
Yeah, it meant a lot just, being out a while. Coming back, we had a couple guys out. My team relied on me, and, I didn't want to let them down, so I came out and, did my best.
For either of you guys, obviously big lead in first half, second half you come out and Penn State's able to close that. What were kind of the conversations and huddles, and what was it that allowed you to maintain and hold on there for the end?
Yeah, I would just staying connected like we were in a first half. Obviously it's not gonna always go the way we wanted to, but I think we just stay connected when the whole second half. There were moments where we didn't execute the best, but we stayed together and stay connected till the end. So I think that meant a lot. So
yeah, just to piggyback off what he said, I think just D was harping on us for our toughness in the huddle, and just staying connected, and I think we did a good job of that.
When you guys do have to step up in this way for both of you, do you feel like it almost helps give you that flow from coming off the bench? That's been a big point of emphasis this year, is kind of growth from the bench. So when you have to play this role, do you think that can be helpful down the line here in the Big Ten?
Yeah, for sure. I think everybody on our team is ready. We stay ready on the bench. We know it's been not a problem, but we know we need more bench production. So, but I just think everybody stayed ready and came in and did their part. So,
yeah, I agree with what he says. And coaches are there. They make sure we are ready. So they definitely help a lot. So just talking with them, getting us ready for the game, I think that helps a lot. So,
and then talk about all the challenges with the weather. What have the last 24 hours been like for you guys? I know it's not a normal practice schedule, so what did it look like?
Yeah, it was funny.
You want me to go?
Yeah, you guys.
Well, it started with a text message from Coach saying, "Don't drive." All right, nobody drive. And we kind of tried to move practice up so we could get out of the building quicker, and coaches kind of spread out and pick guys up. We were just driving around and trying to pick guys driving slow. Everybody made it in okay. We were able to practice and then get out quickly. So, yeah, and guys were, we faced adversity yesterday, certainly, and found a way to have a good practice. So I felt confident, honestly, in our ability to be ready today because of how we practiced yesterday. Both these guys had good practices, and we were ready to handle the adversity we got before the game. So, but it was, coaches kind of doing a lot of the driving to just to be safe.
Yeah.
Yeah, Coach, it's been well documented that January hasn't been the best month for Ohio State men's basketball. With this victory, you secure a winning January. To what do you attribute your ability to make such a change in the month of January?
Do you know what we were last year in January, top of your head? Yeah, I think I know in the past it had been a struggle, but I've said this last year and this year. This is a new program, and we've proven an ability to win on the road, which is important. You have to be able to do that in this league, and we're now playing at a level where we're protecting our home court better, which you have to do in this league. So 4-4 last year. So I think, listen, the issues in the past are in the past. This is a new program, and I understand that. I was here before that, so I get the temptation to tie the two together. But this is a different group. It's a different team, different program, different principles, and I love our toughness and ability to handle adversity. Which in Big Ten play, it's like today was a perfect example of that. Everything in Big Ten play is hard, and we're built for it. I really believe that. I think our scheduling in the non-conference has helped us get ready for that too.
Do you ever guard Junie in practice?
Yeah, all the time.
What's that?
All the time.
All the time.
Yeah.
He's been scoring all lately in a lot of different ways. What have you seen different about him, and why is he? Why do you think he's so good? What does he do that makes him so good?
Yeah, obviously he's a great shooter, one of the best in the country. And then I say his work ethic too. He gets up in the morning almost every day and shoots in the morning. And I think you guys seen that translate over the past few games. So
He's doing other stuff, like uses ball screens well. Obviously better than the past. He's been scoring, going to the rim more. Does he work on that stuff too? Do you see him work on that?
I think it's just a confidence thing. You confident in the work you put in, then you're gonna see the results. So.
For either of you guys, I know basketball is a game of runs, but when Penn State cuts an 18-point lead down to 1, and their bench is going bananas, the place gets quiet. I guess what goes through your head in that moment when you can tell that it's getting close, but you're just trying to stay the course and stay even? Like what goes through your mind in that kind of moment?
I would just stay in the moment, pick it up, step up and make the right plays. If you're aggressive, till that point, you need to be more aggressive and just make sure you make good plays.
Taison, we hadn't seen you score much in a while as you've been been getting some shots that just haven't fallen. What has it taken from just a mentality standpoint to stay ready, and on a night like tonight when they needed you to contribute, you were ready? What does it take to battle through a long stretch like you've been through this season?
I think, like you just said, just staying ready, doing what I can, controlling what I control, whether it's getting extra shots, getting in the weight room more, working on my conditioner game, and anything along those lines. And I think I've been doing that. So,
when you see one go in, like when the first one goes in tonight, how does that change anything for you?
I wouldn't say it changed. It's a good feeling. Obviously scoring in a game, but you like Dave said, you always gotta stay in attack mode. You can't be complacent.
The other Yvonne looked like you two were talking to each other pregame, and you're both from the same country. Do any shared background there?
Yeah, we know each other. We played once against each other back home in Croatia. We never really met officially, but I guess Croatia is not a big country, so I know every Croatian player that's in States right now. So it's just nice to see somebody that's from your country and that speaks the same language. So it's a nice feeling to have somebody here to talk with and share his experiences and stuff. So it's nice to see your guy on the court.
I was wondering, a little bit of free throw challenges in the first half, and it's probably the quietest the shot has ever been. Does that impact your free throw shooting at all when it is super quiet in the room?
I wouldn't say it does. It's really I just need to make a shot. It's really up to me. I don't think the atmosphere around me affects it a lot. It's more me. So.
Thank you.
Yeah, man.
Questions? Yes, sir. Thank you. You're good. I don't know if this is. I don't know who's this. I can't tell if this is still on. Looks like this is still on.
I think you need to fix this chair.
It looks like it's
Still going. All right. All right. Can I just say one more thing real quick? Obviously, it's an honor to be a part of the Coaches versus Cancer, and we as a staff got a chance to go visit Nationwide Children's Hospital, spend some time with some of the families and patients there, and we actually were able to have some here at the game tonight. So, unbelievable organization, and just what we have in our own city. And to see some of the pain that people are going through really puts things in perspective. And I think for us, we've tried to do multiple things in our program to help others and be there for others. And it's an honor to represent that organization and the hospitals here in town, and to be able to wear these shoes. I got to wear a young guy's named Briley who's from Athens, and it was an honor to wear his shoes. And I just wanted to kind of go with that. And go ahead, man. I think it's Briley, I believe. We can confirm that, though, if you need that.
As far as the health of your team, you said dealt with some pregame adversity here. Can you take us through Tilly being ruled out and what it looks like going forward, and how that then impacted your plans?
Yeah, not sure what it looks like going forward yet. Thankful we have some required time off here. We need it. I don't know, it was 4 games and 9 or 10 days, I think it was. So, it's good for us to be able to get some time off. Guys recover. We got some guys who are, have logged some minutes in that stretch. So, as far as today, he was in shoot around, and we didn't do a lot of pace and high kind of intensity stuff in shoot around, and they ruled him out afterwards, and so in that time period we had to certainly address some things and make some adjustments. And again, just really proud of our guys. We've talked a lot about bench production this year. And those guys stepped up in a big way. Yvonne stepped up in starting role. We had guys step up. I thought Puff gave us some good minutes. Collins, you always know he's going to be a warrior out there, and it was great for Taison to go in and I think earn those extra rotations, because that's what we've been pushing those guys to do, is earn those minutes, and he did. So just really proud of those guys for stepping up.
In the second half, when they cut it to 1, it was Junie that drew the foul, hit the free throws, and then he hits a step back 3. The next one that pushes it back to 6. We've talked about his shot making, his ability to share the ball, but it seemed like he was the guy in that moment that said, "I'm going to do something and stop this run." What have you seen from him, from that mentality of being able to be the guy that says, "I'm going to take over this game here and make the play that we need"?
Yeah, I think he's been so consumed with winning and doing whatever's required to win, and the poise and maturity that he's playing with the ball in his hands right now has been really impressive for a sophomore. We got other guys I thought who were huge in critical moments. I thought Bruce was more aggressive in the second half, especially when the game got a little tighter. That was good to see. Devin was more aggressive. I don't think he had a free throw attempt last game. He gets to the line more today and gets some rebounds, and so I think we had multiple guys. Amari, it stepped up in a big way. I mean, think about this now. We asked a freshman to play a position he really hasn't played all year, and do it with some significant minutes, and sometimes in crunch time. So just this group is connected. We have great chemistry. I really like our toughness. There's some areas we got to shore up, certainly. We'll continue to talk about that and learn from that and grow in those areas. But today there were multiple guys who stepped up. Junie certainly, I thought, had some pivotal possessions that were able to kind of help us respond when they cut it down.
Coach, I want to ask you about the Coaches versus Cancer. I know you're a man of faith. What word of hope would you give to somebody who's going through a cancer struggle now, or maybe lost a loved one to cancer, as most of us have?
Yeah, every time I think when you talk about cancer, it seems like everybody's been impacted in some way. And we don't always know why things happen, but I think for me, I do like faith. My faith is the most important thing in my life. It's a constant for me, and I think other people when I've been going through tough times, that's what I've leaned on, and I'd encourage other people who have that to lean on that, stand firm in the promises of God's word, and and hopefully, right, it can be impactful for families to give them the strength as they watch loved ones struggle. And again, we don't know why some things happen. We're not promised, as believers that everything's going to go well, but we are promised that God will be with us. And I hopefully people can gain strength and hope in that. But listen, when you spend time with a little kid who's got to come to Columbus once a week to get chemo treatment, like I think I'm tough. Like that's real toughness. Like it's just I got kids. It's hard. It's hard. So I praise God every day for that I'm able to go home and hug my kids. And I think when you're in this position and you have an opportunity to represent an organization, and there's no amount of time that's too much to spend with people like that. Ohio State's such a huge it's so impactful in so many people's lives. So I know Ryan and the football team does stuff, spends time at the hospital. Like we have a responsibility to be available and spend time with people. And if we can provide them some joy during some struggle, it's the least we can do. So, but man, it's very humbling when you see a little girl who's going through some really tough, like real tough stuff, and the smile on her face, like that's, like you talk about, like we think we're impact, like the impact they have on us is more important. So sorry for getting a little emotional there, but man, it's, cancer sucks. It does, and most everybody's experienced something. So thankful for what Ohio State does, Nationwide does, and Coaches vs. Cancer.
Well, that was amazing. I appreciate everything you just said. Love everything you said. And it is moving what you guys are doing, being involved. I wanted to talk about Bruce. His second game in a row that's been a little bit more low scoring for him. He only shot the ball 6 times tonight. Is there anything specific that you think has been limiting him offensively? I know he contributes in other ways. And is it affecting him mentally at all to have those lower scoring nights?
Bruce is one of the toughest players I've ever been around. And, I think you look at his 5 assists, no turnovers. This was a team that was committing to the ball a lot in ball screens. I thought there were a couple opportunities he passed up shots. But, I think that I want him to be really aggressive. We're best when he's really aggressive. I challenged him there in a stretch of the game to be more aggressive. But I think he's human. He's played at a superhuman level really all season. So he's human. And listen, if I were a betting man, I would say he's going to come out and have a great game next game, and go on a run for a series of games like he's proven so many times in his career. So one of the toughest players I've ever been around. Just love him to death. And, yeah, you can coach him hard and all that, but he'll respond in a big way. And honestly, I think he managed a good game. Efficient, 5 assists, no turnovers, 3 steals. So did some really good stuff out there.
I've got a stat for you. Someone gave me this. They said this is the 4th game in a row that John has had at least 4 made threes. They said that ties the record with your brother for most games in a row with at least 4 made threes.
If there's any question on if I would like him to break that or not, the answer is absolutely yes.
Okay.
I would love for him to go ahead and break that stretch for multiple reasons. Obviously, it'll help us win our next game, hopefully, and then I can call my brother and say there's one less thing I got to look at around this building, right? When someone breaks his record. So love for someone to knock off his 3-point record and things. Obviously, John was really impactful for this program. It took my love for this program to a whole new level. But to see Junie, flirt with some stuff like that means he's playing at a really high level. That's for sure.
I feel like every time we've asked about Taison this year, you've said some variation of we need to see consistency with Taison if he wants these opportunities. And towards the end of the game, he had the floater that put you up 9, but then immediately on defense, he came up with the steal. seconds later. Is that the type of consistency that you have been talking about that you need to see from him?
Yeah, I think for him, he had some stretches where he got some minutes and didn't get a shot off. So it starts with being aggressive offensively. He's got some ability on that end that can really help us. And then he's got to continue. We've challenged him to continue to execute better defensively and help us on the glass. I mean, he gets 2 rebounds, and so I thought this was a great indication. Hopefully, of things to come. Now, maybe he doesn't go 4 for 6 every game, but it's certainly like we've been searching for like people to kind of raise their level on the bench, and there's a trust factor when that happens, and he's earned. He's earned opportunity. He's practiced better. Like there's momentum here for him, and I hope he can seize it and continue to raise his level.
This is the most he's played this year. I don't know what's going to go on with Gabe moving forward with his injury, but is this an opportunity then for Taison to continue to earn those type of minutes? You just really haven't had that kind of bench production very often this year.
Yeah, I think it certainly warrants opportunity. And you hate, right? Like no one loses kind of their spot with injury typically, especially if it's a quick turnaround. But we've been searching for guys to step up, and there's no denying he stepped up today. And so he deserves more opportunity next game, and hopefully again he can go in there and play well.
We've kind of talked about Mobley in a growth aspect a lot this season, but it feels like, especially the last 4 games, he's just kind of hit his stride. Is there a world where you stop working on a guy with saying like, hey, this is what we got to do routinely, and it just becomes who he is? Like, obviously you can't expect 4 made threes every single game.
Hopefully one more game.
There you go.
Yeah.
But does that change how you coach a guy to say, okay, this is the role you're playing for this team. This can't be a one-off. It's got to be every game now?
I think one of the things we do in this program is we're honest. We hold guys accountable. And he's been held accountable, and he's been pushed, and there's been conversations. And the one thing that you got to understand about John Mobley, and I think this is true really for most all of our guys. He wants to be coached. He wants to be a great player. He loves ball, and he's a worker. When you combine those things, and he's certainly got talent, right? That's where you get consistency. He's got good self-awareness, and like we're at a point now where he's kind of telling me what he did wrong before I can even get to him sometimes. So I think he's just like his maturity as a player, as he's gotten experienced this sophomore season, and has been really good. But like Devin Royal's another guy. Like he didn't have his best game last game, and he came in and he responded. We talked about things you got to do better, and he went out and did it and responded like good players do. So Amari Bynum, same thing. We have a culture in our program where you work hard, you get coached hard, you get held accountable, but like it's from a place of love. We want guys to grow and develop, certainly for their future, but for us to win. And I think John's been a great example. Elite worker, and it's not an accident he's been playing at a high level.
Like about the small ball lineup, so to speak, and maybe what didn't you like?
I'd have to go back and look at the numbers of our rebounding numbers in that stretch, but I would imagine that might have been part of the equation. I think we didn't execute our ball screen coverage well enough, and a lot of times it was the other guys, not Amari necessarily in the coverage. We didn't execute some of our kind of behind the ball screen coverage very well. That's where Rice got loose on a couple threes, and so I think. I liked the pace we were able to play at times. I thought the ball moved. We were able to get the ball to Amari in space, and he was, had some good plays there. So, it was a lineup, right, with Brandon when Brandon was healthy. We utilized that lineup. We'd certainly like to have a full deck and be able to have everybody available, but I think, we were able to pick up some things here that we can utilize down the road.
So it's a small sample size with Puff, but a little bit bigger today. What is he doing that you like now that you've seen him for a little bit here, and where do you still need more? Obviously, he didn't play as much in the second half.
Yeah, well, I think, part of it is when you're kind of going down the stretch, there's such an element to execution, and I don't know if it's fair to ask him to, right? And especially when we got unique lineups and positions going on. I've been impressed with his basketball IQ, his motor. I think he is a great communicator on the court. So I think we're seeing that. You see him get 3 rebounds, and he did a good job. Probably could have had one of those kind of bounced around the rim, could have went in. So what we're asking him to do is really hard, right? And I've just been really impressed with just how committed he is to trying to catch up as best he can. And he goes in, plays hard, and talks well, and that typically is going to end up being a really good thing.
Penn State seemed to have a lot more intensity second half, especially coming out. Yeah, and they got it down to a point. How did you feel about your intensity through that stretch when they were coming back? And how do what'd you think of that first? Yeah,
I thought we were a step slow defensively. Gave up some catch and shoot threes that we had done a good job taking away in the first half. This team, they've had some really high level segments and games. They haven't obviously been able to finish at the level they want to, but a ton of respect, for that program. And, for us, like, I think we were a step slow on some of our closeouts. We were a step slow on some of our rotations. So that was frustrating because I felt like we just weren't executing well enough. We didn't. It took too long to respond. Quite honestly, it took too long to respond, and we didn't respond with our offense or defense really for that stretch. That's how you allow someone to come back like that. So we've this is Big Ten basketball, though. Like, everybody's going to fight. There's no laying down in this league, and they fought. I'm proud we were able to flip it back. That was really important to do.
In addition to that, then to flip it back sooner, to be more consistent, because you've talked about consistency because of these big swings in games. You love big swings in your direction, but to limit the other direction, what's the maturity level have to get to, or something like that?
Yeah, I think oftentimes when teams going to run like that, it's bad on both ends, and for us that usually means an unnecessary, unforced turnover, or maybe a forced early shot that we don't touch the paint. Typically, that's been the trend for us. We've obviously been working on that and talking about that, watching, like we've been watching those segments. And I think for the most part, we're getting better. But, today they responded, and then I think you consider everything we were dealing with from a lineup standpoint, it just compounded, and we didn't have the quick enough response.
Jake, we had a lot of fans already reach out today and ask, like, hey, the Blue Jackets postponed today, weather on the roads, why is basketball not postponing? Do you mind talking just a little bit, like, logistically, why it was so important for you guys to try to get this one in? It's like scheduling or what, but why you guys pushed so hard to try to get this in rather than like postponing it down the road?
Yeah, well, I think part of it was, Penn State came in early, which was, great on them. And the Big Ten window is really tight. And I think the TV stuff plays a factor in all this. Certainly we didn't want to open our doors. With them being here, I would imagine that game was going to be played regardless. So I think we didn't want to open our doors without, certainly that thing. I think it dropped to a level 2 earlier today, right? So that was a factor. I know that was, everybody was really talking about level 3 versus level 2. Believe it or not, I got zero say in that, right? Like, we trust the university and they make that decision. We just had to be ready, get our guys in the building, and I think with Penn State being in town, like, the game was going to be played regardless. It was just a matter of if the gates were going to be open or not. That's probably a David Egelhoff more question than me. I was kind of more focused on.
I wanted to clarify. I don't think you talked about Cups and what happened with him, and just do either situation feel like they could be out for a week or two, or a long-term thing? Or?
Yeah, I don't have an answer on that, Steve. Those kind of crept up on us pretty quick. So obviously with everything going on, you just I had to turn my attention to who was available, and we had to figure out practice yesterday and stuff. So both those guys certainly are going to do everything they can to get back as quickly as they can. I don't have an answer on what that'll look like. I may have more information tomorrow, but right now I'm not sure. But I know those two were in the training room a lot today. So hopefully they'll be in there a lot tomorrow, and we can get some progress and get back to full strength. Thanks for coming, guys. On the main floor in the lobby, yeah, they brought like some of the families down and some of the kids actually. Was it Monday? Monday.